Look, I don't normally make videos about current events, but the Spirit Airlines situation is something we actually need to talk about because I'm seeing a lot of people completely miss this, like what this actually means for us. And before we get into it, I keep seeing comments from people saying this only affects poor people or just fly a better airline. And honestly, that kind of thinking shows you don't understand how any of this actually works. So let me break down what's really happening here. Spirit Airlines just shut down. And yeah, their seats weren't the most comfortable. And yeah, people made jokes about them all the time. But here's what actually mattered. They were the cheapest option. And that cheapest option kept every other airline in check. Let me explain why. Imagine there are 3 pizza places in your town. One sells slices for $3, one sells slices for $6, and then one for $10. Most people buy the $3 slice because it gets the job done and it saves them money. And because that $3 option exists, the $6 place can't charge $9. The $10 place can't charge $15. They have to stay somewhat competitive because people always have that cheaper option. Now, what happens when the $3 place closes? The $6 place doesn't have to keep their prices low anymore. They can creep up to $7, then $8, then $9. And you'll pay for it because the cheap option's gone. The $10 place, they're not lowering prices. They never had to compete on price in the first place. That's exactly what's about to happen with airlines. Spirit was the budget option that forced other airlines to offer somewhat competitive prices on certain routes. Now that they're gone, there's nothing stopping American, Delta, and United from slowly raising prices across the board. But beyond just airline prices, this is part of a bigger pattern we're seeing everywhere. The unaffordable options across the board are disappearing. Streaming used to be $8 a month for Netflix. Now you have 5 services at $20 each. Fast food used to be the cheap option. Now a meal costs $15. Budget grocery stores are getting bought out by premium chains. Everything that used to make life manageable on a tight budget is either gone or just totally getting priced out of reach. And here's where people get it wrong. I see wealthy people saying, this doesn't affect me, I never flew Spirit anyways. But that's not how it works. Even if you flew Delta, you were benefiting from Spirit existing because Delta had to keep some routes affordable to compete. Now they don't. And here's the thing. Actually wealthy people who understand money, they don't waste it on expensive flights when a cheaper option works just fine. There's a reason Spirit has never had a crash in their entire history. The plane gets you there just the same. And yeah, you can just say save more money or budget better, but when wages stay flat while everything else doubles in price, that's not a personal failure of anyone's, it's just a math problem. Here's what really gets me about the Spirit situation specifically. A lot of people use Spirit to visit family across the country, or to maintain long-distance relationships, or to move to a new city for a better opportunity. For some people, Spirit wasn't just an airline. It was literally like their only option to stay connected to the people they love or to build a better life. And now that option's gone. Just like that, overnight. So now what? Now those people go into debt to afford the more expensive airlines, or they just don't fly. They don't see their family, they don't pursue that opportunity, they just stay stuck where they are. I'm just saying we should probably pay attention to what happens next. Because if airline prices start creeping up over the next year with no competition to keep them in check, we'll know exactly why.